This is Seasons of Discontent with your hosts Rick Snyder and Matt Combs on the Hogstye Network.
Welcome to Seasons of Discontent, Season 5, Episode 32, brought to you by Rick Snyder's Washington across social medias, and I'm Rick Snyder.
I'm Matt.
And we're back discussing all things Washington sports and life as part of the mighty Hogstye Network on audio and here on YouTube on video. So that Washington football team is going to be playing the Carolina Panthers. Yeah, Carolina Panthers next, who have Cam Newton back, and it's Ron Rivera's homecoming. And there's just so many great storylines on this baby. But, you know, I thought, okay, they can win this game. And then Cam just leads them over Arizona like lightning. Sometimes that first game is your real adrenaline surge, and then you go back to who you are. But I don't know, man. It's going to be a good game, I guess.
Yeah, and they said Cam's going to be taking a lot of the first team reps in practice this week, so he's probably going to end up being the starter. You know, obviously they have a pretty decent defense. You've got to worry about Christian McCaffrey, who is a dynamic running back catching the ball out of the backfield. Yeah, I mean, a lot of storylines of this one, Rick. Like you said, Cam is just the icing, or the you know, he's just the icing on the cake. You know, you had all the guys in Washington going back to Carolina. You know, Ron coming back to Carolina, a lot of his former players there. So it should be a good week. I don't know. I don't know what this team is, you know. This is a team that goes out and gets destroyed by Buffalo one week and then, you know, goes out and beats the defending Super Bowl champions. And those are the two teams that a lot of people have in the Super Bowl this year. So it's just crazy to me.
Why are you laughing? You're making me laugh now. Is this
because I don't know.
I had a senior moment there for a minute. Wonder if it's Carolina Panthers. Okay.
No, yeah, it's the Carolina Panthers, Rick. You're right.
Hey, man, all things happen.
We just talked about Sam Huff last show. Are you starting to get a little bit of that?
Oh, yeah. When you hit late 50s, 60s, you get blanks. I mean, that's everybody.
Oh, I'm 39 years old and get those every day.
Yeah. I mean, I did have a stroke a couple months ago if you might make fun of things. But, yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Well, I mean, it's true, but
he's trying to egg it.
You get these weird gaps when you get old. What can I tell you?
I know.
All right, so I would normally say to go after Cam Newton, just pass rush the hell out of them. But they don't have their two pass rushers anymore.
Yeah.
And the guys, they can't do the same things. Not that Chase and Montez were doing it either. But normally you hit them a lot, you could force something here. I can't believe that Cam Newton is this great thing. He wasn't that good the last few years. I think it was just a one game kind of thing with him coming back. But that's what you are going to have to put pressure on them. Your interior linemen are going to be so important because you got to look for McCaffrey too. You can't let them, you know, dictate that.
Right.
So the line, once again, is a critical part of this game, I think.
Yeah, and you know, they paid John Allen in the offseason, and I tell you what, Rick, he's earning it. He's earning it this season. You know, he played very well against Brady, had a couple of hits against Brady last week. You know, you got to rely on Allen and Payne and Ioannidis up front. You know, they're going to have to be the difference makers. They're the guys in the trenches. You know, they're going to be the guys that apply the pressure, you know.
Well, the other thing that goes on is Taylor Heineke played like Taylor Heineke against Tampa Bay and won. They had the bye week. He got out of town, cleared his head, got that game manager crap out of his head, and quit playing scared. He decided, I want to beat Tampa. I played well against them the last time. This would get a chance to have a second time against the team, finally, because he hadn't had that opportunity before. And, you know, he didn't play scared. He just went out there and played, and that's what he does. I mean, yeah, there was a few times he took a sack because he was holding the ball too long. I mean, he's still doing that too much. He's trying not to run around as much as he did.
Mm-hmm.
He stays healthy. But I was thinking, you know, I thought Tampa might be his last game if he didn't play well.
Oh, I did too.
You know, 2-7, I figured that. But now that they're 3-6, and not that they're going to go to the playoffs and all, but I think what you do with Taylor now, you play him the rest of the way and make him the best number 2 you can have. If he proves himself worthy of being one with a whole bunch of good efforts, all right, great. But at least get him ready to be a number two, because this team, God knows, always needs a number two, because if one gets hurt. So I think it's worth developing him for that reason.
Yeah.
He's not going anywhere. He's still under contract for next year.
And let's not forget, this is, Heineke played for Carolina as well. So, he's going to be fired up. He, like you said, with the motivation to play Brady, the legend of Taylor Heineke was born against Tampa last year in the playoffs. This is another motivating game for him, because this is a team that he played for. This is a team that let him go, so.
Yeah, Washington has had so many good young quarterbacks that never did anything. Guys like the Colt Brennans, even Babe Laufenberg. Here's a guy who finally came across and delivered a signature win, and has had, he's only 3-7 as a starter, and yet he'll always be remembered for this Tampa win. I mean, hell of an effort. It was fun to watch. It was fun to see somebody enjoy the game when the game's money has turned everybody into businessmen. So I like watching the guy, because he just doesn't back down, and he's a baller. I mean, Kirk Cousins, Jeff George, big resumes, lots of numbers, but they couldn't win games like this. Right. Here's this guy who can do it, and so I think he's worth going. Now, where they go? Are they going to go with Trubisky next year? Screw it. The fans will want Taylor to stay and play to him. I mean, if you get me a journeyman, we'll just see how Taylor Heineke does in these last games. If he plays decent, he should, he's better than some journeyman quarterback you bring in. And if he stinks, then okay, you make a move.
I see them winning probably at least 2 or 3 more games. Look, let's be honest. The Raiders are in a downfall. They've had between losing their head coach, their star wide receiver, and, all these people that they've lost, the Raiders are kind of on a downward slide. We don't know what Philly looks great one week and then a complete disaster the next. Same thing with the Giants. Dallas is the class of the division. Do you step up to that giant like you did against Tampa and, step right up to Dallas and punch them in the mouth? Or do you fold to them? I mean, but realistically, I see him winning probably 3. I'll give him 3 more games, 6-11. Where does that place you in the draft? We've already talked about that this is a weak quarterback class this year. Does that make them want to venture out into free agency or make a trade? We've heard Russell Wilson's name. He wants out. We've heard Matt Ryan is probably going to be a cap casualty for a rebuilding Atlanta offense. Derek Carr may be on his way out of the Raiders. I mean, there's a lot of options that are going to be out there. But regardless, I think you keep Taylor, like you said, as a number 2, and, maybe you give him a shot in camp. Rivera's never had a true QB competition. Last year it was Haskins chance to shine, and he dropped the ball. And then, Alex Smith came in and led him to like 6 wins. This year it was pretty much just given to Fitzpatrick, and he gets hurt within the first 20 minutes of the first game. So there's never been a true quarterback competition. And to be honest with you, Taylor wouldn't have won the quarterback competition this year because he looked like poop in practice. But, maybe you bring in a guy like that and let Taylor compete with him.
Well, it was pretty funny that the news this week broke that, Ryan Fitzpatrick's not going to play again. Yeah, no kidding, Sherlock.
Yeah, well, duh.
But it was one of these headliners that clickbait stuff that people write. I was like, man, this kind of thing's annoying. If you paid any attention at all, you knew this.
Yeah.
I guess you made it official. But yeah, it's too bad the guy, he's not next year's plans anyway. And he wasn't going to play even if he was healthy at the end of the season, unless they just were desperate.
Right.
Because I thought that was kind of crazy. So one of the things I want to talk about, it's time for Christmas. And the scary part, Matt, everything you want is offshore and there's cargo ship somewhere. Yep. Unless made in America, you want to go with my book. I know there's a few of you out there that haven't bought it yet. It's only a few years old. Am I going to update it again? I've been asked. I can't tell you till after Christmas when you bought this one. But 100 things Redskins fans should know and do before they die on Amazon. I won't sign it for you or any of that other crap. But
if you had to let me know that we were doing this, I would have went in the bathroom and got mine.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, if you buy it, I get $1 or something stupid like that. Who knows on that. All right. So last before we get out of here, we talk about the Washington Wizards, who I wasn't expecting much of, but so far so good for the Wiz. And I don't know if it's kind of funny. Coach Wes Unseld Jr., wasn't much of a player, but he might be a pretty good coach, where his dad was a great player, but he was an awful coach. So maybe Junior here is, in the short term, I have to admit, looking at the Wiz, I watched a couple games. I'm like, who are these guys? Yeah. Where is anybody? Oh, there's like 3 players that I knew. And they had a winless preseason. So I thought, okay, I guess they ain't going to be much. But, they're, I don't know, 1/8 into the season or whatever. But at least they're not 3-12 like so many years. They're actually winning games, which is amazing.
Yeah, they're 9-3 right now as we record. They've got a game tonight against a bad New Orleans Pelicans team. So they got a chance to go up to 10-3. They are first in the East. Rick, I'll be the first one to admit, when they traded Westbrook for, 3 guys that I'd never heard of. I'm a casual basketball fan, but pretty much 3 guys that I'd never heard of. I kind of poo-pooed the trade because I figured you needed Westbrook for the star power, for the name. It was fun watching him last season, pretty much every game get a triple-double. I don't know about the camaraderie between him and Beal. There was a lot of talk that maybe they didn't necessarily see eye to eye on the court. But, yeah, I mean, this is pretty impressive, for a rookie head coach to come in and completely – Rick, they're playing defense. This is a team where we all used to sit back and think, okay, the first one to 125 points wins. This team, they're playing defense. They're not relying just on Brad. Bradley had a death in the family. His grandmother was sick and passed away. And, he admitted, hey, look, this was on my mind for the past couple games. I haven't really been myself lately. I need to step back for this game and sit out. And it's other guys. Other guys are stepping up and taking that role of a leader. And it's impressive. And a lot of it comes from coach. That's something you coach. That's, it's not just necessarily a scheme, but, stepping up and being a leader in one's absence is definitely a quality that comes from your head coach.
The Lakers are 8-6. So Westbrook's chemistry with LeBron and all.
Well, LeBron's not playing. LeBron's hurt.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, I didn't like Westbrook as a player overall. I thought they did the right move. He got good numbers, but he wasn't winning games. It's like the Kirk NFL, kind of thing. All right. Well, we got to get out of here. I lost track of how much time it's been. So I'm Rick Snyder.
I'm Matt.
See you soon.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Seasons of Discontent on the Hogstye Network.